più tra i farfalloni amoroso, notte e giorno di torno girano, delle belle turbando al riposo.
I'm about to do the check of the Desmo clearances on my Multistrada 1200S Touring 2011 version. Now, if you follow the playlist or you've been following along, you'll know that I've recently just stripped all the bodywork off in the last video to be able to get at it. It's quite a job. It took, probably a couple of hours worth of work, and there's lots of bits, so hopefully I won't lose any. Anyway, in this one, I'm going to check the Desmo. Now, if you've followed along with this, you would possibly know that this is a bike that currently's got about 28,000 miles on it, but actually had a new engine because of a crank failure at 6,000 miles or so. Now, I think the service history says it had its Desmos checked when the bike as a whole had 15,000 miles on it. I phoned up the dealer, who's changed bloody systems 2 or 3 times, you know what it's like. They think they wouldn't have stamped the book for a 15,000 mile service, which includes Desmo, if they hadn't have done everything without noting it in the book that they hadn't done it. So they think that they've probably done it. Now that means this is coming up to about 14,000 miles after that. So it's either just about getting due, or it could potentially be 50% overdue. Now, the person I bought it off, they weren't sure about the Desmo, and it was one of the things they mentioned. They didn't think the Desmo check had been done. So take it as you will, but I got it a little bit cheaper because of that. So it's going to be interesting to see what the clearances are. I'd like to think they'll be in the service limits and I won't need to change anything. Bitter experience says I'll no doubt be buying some shims. So let's get the belt covers off and get the actual rocker covers off and let the dog see the rabbit. To remove this top cover now, it's a 30 Torx, and just I didn't think it'd be overly done up. Obviously it'll be a struggle to get in on some of them because that's the way it is. And that one. Alright, just whip them out and then it should just come off. What do you reckon? It's a little bit stuck on, but you'd expect that. I think that might have just persuaded it to give up. Now let's see how we can come off here. Again, I might have to look again at moving that. There we go. And there they are. The infamous Desmos. I actually thought this would be the easy one to video, but instead I'm grovelling around on the floor. It's always the way, isn't it? So I'm just going to whip off the coil and then I'm going to take off the cam cover. Well, the rocker cover, sorry, not cam cover. Or both. There we go. Let's hope now. With that there. Yes. And then it's quite simply undo these. Okay, should be able to get them by hand now. Need to take into account that a bit of oil will drop out from this rocker cover, so it pays to have something ready to catch it. Now I've got them all exposed. This is when I'm going to actually check the clearances, and then by using a tool on the crank or having it in 6th gear and turning the back wheel, what you want to do get it so that for one camshaft, the opening cams are facing upwards. The closing cams, the flatter side will be towards the front or the back, whichever way around it is. And it's important to know how these work. The opening cam bears down on something that actually pushes directly down on the valve, so that as it's going around, this lumpy bit here is the bit that pushes the valve down. And the clearance you actually want to check is the exact opposite of that side, so that as it's running, there's clear space at the opposite side of this with regard to the spec that you're looking for. Now that's the opening cam. The closing cams are a very weird shape, and I'll be honest, I've never played with Desmos before, so it took me a while to get my head around this. What the closing cam does is it pushes against this lever here, which has a fork which pulls the valve back up, so there are no springs whatsoever. Now you would think that where this lump was wouldn't be where the closing cam was fairly thick. However, because it's going through this lever here, it's not actually in completely exactly the same phase as this. As that's actually coming down, this has already started to leave this area. If you get your head around it, you'll get the idea. So the clearances you want to check is on the opposite side to this lump, and basically the middle of this sort of half moon shape, so that there's a clearance here. And I'll show you the table. There are two sets of clearances given for both the openers and the closers. One's the operation clearance. What that actually means is if you're putting it together or changing the shims, that's the clearance you should aim for and get it within that clearance. However, once the engine's been running a while, there's an actual checking clearance, which is a bit wider, a bit slacker than the operating clearance. And that means that once it's worn in a bit, there's a little bit more sort of leeway and tolerance. So that the operating clearance isn't the one you're going to check at this point. You'd only do it if you had the cams out and you'd actually changed the shim. You'd be making sure that the shims gave you a clearance within the operating clearance. When you've actually been running the engine like now, it is the checking clearance that you're looking for, which is wider. Now, for the closers, that is 0.05 of a mil to 0.25. It's actually quite a wide clearance, that. So you've got quite a lot of scope. And for the openers, it's 0.1 to 0.25. So how do we check them? The first thing to do is get yourself a decent set of feeler gauges. And I always seem to use two and check them against each other. So you need to find, to make yourself reassured to start off with, the 0.1. So I'm going to look for 0.1 of a mil. It might not be exact on this set. There we go. It's the 0.102. So it's slightly bigger than 0.1. And to check the openers, you need to get between the base of this lobe and the sort of carrier that it's on. And as you can see, that goes in really nicely there. It goes in really nicely there. And checking this one here, goes in really nicely there. Now, the tight clearance is the one that I'd worry about most, because if the clearances are too tight, especially on the openers, your valves might not close properly. So you really want to be concerned about them being too tight. If it's too tight and the valve's not closing properly, it may overheat, it may burn out. That's the worst scenario. Now that's the narrowest of the clearances you're looking for, and these are definitely bigger than that. And what they don't want to be is bigger than 0.25. And the reason for that is, one, it affects how much fuel and air will get into the engine. Two, it'll make it noisier, right? And three, it does mean there's wear that you need to be thinking about somewhere. Now, I've got 0.25, and it shouldn't fit in. and it doesn't. You don't have to force it, it's just gentle. You just see if it'll fit in, and it doesn't. It doesn't fit into any of them. So what I've done is I've gone through a number of different feeler gauges so that I actually know what these are. So if I ever come to do this job again, I'll know what they were last time, so to speak. I have carefully gone through using my better set of feeler gauges so that I can actually judge what the clearances are, not just that they're in spec, and I've put them into this table. As you can see, I've got two what you could call outliers. I've got one closer which is at 0.08 compared to the others which are at about 0.1 or 0.12. And I've also got one closer where it's at 0.2, still well within the limit, but slightly outside of the operating limit. I'm totally happy with all of them. So I'm going to put the cam covers back on. You torque them on, there's only 4 screws. Torque them on down to 10 and then down to 22.5. And I'd do them 2 across, 2 across. Obviously I'm putting new seals on. You don't need to worry too much about any kind of RTV apart from where it goes over that little hoop. And it's the same on BMWs. If you watch our other videos, you always seem to have to put a little smear on there just to give it a bit of certainty. Maybe they're not as confident in their machining as you'd like. The next thing I'm going to do is the belts. And you don't need to have the tank off or the cam covers off to do the belts, so I might have put them back on by the time I get to that. It'd be worth coming to see, because I'm going to see what frequency these are at after 4 years, just out of interest. I think the belts actually look fine. Then I'm going to fit the new belts, check them, do the tensioning, and put it all back together. I'm disappointed that I'm not going to be changing shims. I'm relieved in some ways. It doesn't look like it's a difficult job, so I wouldn't overly stress about it. If I was doing the shims, I'd take the belts off first. There are 2 carriers for the cams on each cylinder. They're held on by 4 bolts, and you undo gently, starting with the 2 middle ones, 2 outside, 2 middle, 2 outside. On both of them, take them off. How you change the shims themselves? Well, the top one, it's just literally sat on top of the valve. However, the one that's underneath, you have to pull the lever to one side, take off, they call them half rings, similar to collets or valve keepers that you see on spring type valves, but just 2 very small half rings. You drop the actual shim down and take it off. Measure it, and I'm sure you'll see some other videos on how to measure them. Buy your new ones, put them in. It's interesting to note though that the operating clearance would mean you would only have one of the 0.05 step shims that would actually work to get it within the operating clearance. So you haven't got a choice of 1 or 2. There would only be one that would get it into there. So you might have to change 2 sizes or something like that. On my widest one, the one that's 0.2, I would have to go, instead of 0.05, I'd have to go 0.1 on the shim. So that's quite interesting. That concludes this Desmo check video. I'm very surprised. It's actually, the check itself is very easy. To get to be able to do the check is very complicated, stripping out the tank and the fairings and the cam covers and everything. That's really quite an issue. But once you actually get to checking them, that's quite simple, in fact. I'm very surprised I've not had to change any shims because, as I said near the start of the video, it's either 14,000 miles since they were last checked or potentially 22,000 miles since this engine was put in here and no one's had a look at them. I'm not sure which. Whichever way it goes, the vast majority are within the operating limit, never mind the service limit, and they're all very, very much within the service limit. If I was going to change a shim at all, it'd be that 0.2, and it'd be silly really. Why go to a lot of effort to do that when it's still 0.05 within what the limit should be? So I'm going to put it all back together and then I'm on to the belts. Why not subscribe? Have a look at what other videos we've done. No matter what though, thank you very much for watching.
girano, delle belle turbante